Good afternoon. This is Adam Small from Agent Sauce, and we're here with the Real Estate Marketing Podcast. Today with me is Doug Carr of DK New Media, and we're going to be talking about calls to action in your marketing today.
I like that.
You like calls to action?
I do.
Why is that?
Everybody forgets them.
Right. I can't tell you how many postcards, how many emails I've seen without some sort of call to action, and even if it's just a, hey, call me.
Yeah. It's why are you putting all this content out there and doing all this work, and you're not going to tell people what you can do for them?
Exactly. So, Doug, why don't we go ahead and start with you explaining what, for those that don't know what call to action CTA is, give it an in-depth definition, if you would.
Sure. I mean, it's the it's what you want the person to do next. So a lot of behavior online with people that are reading content or listening to a video or watching a video, listening to a podcast, whatever. It's you have to tell them what you want them to do next, and it works when you tell someone what to do, why they should do it, and when they should do it. They magically wind up doing it.
Kind of like the adage, it doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah, exactly. And so what a lot of people feel like, well, that's salesy, but it's not salesy. So it would be something like, if you'd like to see a demo where you can place call to actions, in your emails, just contact you at Agent Sauce.
Right.
And so that's like the simplest, littlest, easiest thing. I just made that up on the fly, so it didn't sound that great, but it's still.
We'll forgive you.
But it's still, so in the context of this podcast, we're going to be talking about calls to action, but then our call to action should be telling someone why they should get a hold of you and use your software.
Right at the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
There, right. Yeah, exactly.
Did I do that early?
Well, we're not done yet.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you got the call to action in there, which is great, but we're not done yet. Yeah. Okay. So one thing I want to kind of clarify a little bit there is that you said, online, and you use the online example,
Yeah.
and in large part because the Agent Sauce is primarily an online tool, and what you do is mostly online. But really, a call to action applies to any sort of medium
Sure
at all.
does. Yeah.
It's print. It's signs in the yard, which are kind of like print.
Yeah.
It's TV advertising. It's any sort of marketing that you do whatsoever. You need to prompt that person to do what you want them to do next. So some good mediums. You talked about email marketing, call to action. So put a button in there or a
Sometimes
phrase
it's
or
just
what?
a sentence, right? Sometimes it's for more information, call this number.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time, it's something that really stands out. So it's something that drives the attention of the user to it. So buttons are a pretty common methodology for it.
Okay. So and then the button goes to what, a landing page?
Yeah, the button typically goes to a landing page that continues that conversation. So if we said, if you want to see a demo of, how you can put a call to action in email, get a demo of Agent Sauce here, that landing page would be schedule a demo for Agent Sauce.
Right.
So
right.
you want the call to action and to line up with the landing page.
Right. Okay. So then if it was, if a real estate agent was sending an email promoting a listing, it might be, hey, click here to schedule a walkthrough of this listing.
Yeah.
Right. And then it takes them to a page where it talks about, okay, here's the time and availability and such. But it's about that particular listing.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay. So what are some other effective mediums that you've seen for calls to action, online in particular?
Well, online, it should be every medium, right? It should be everything that you're doing. If you write a blog post, it's good at the end of the blog post to say how you can help that person. Sometimes it's just in your template, you just have it built right in.
Right.
Email, obviously, mobile apps, are that way. Text messages, right? Typically they have a click link to start a call to action.
Virtual tours for real estate agents is a good example.
Yeah.
Even landing pages. Landing pages don't have to be the end of the call to action. They can actually be the beginning of the call to action. If you're promoting something like running an ad or something like that on Google, and somebody clicks through to the landing page, that's kind of helping sell the
more information
item there.
You're just driving them to that decision. Like a lot of what you don't want to do is you don't want to open them up to like send them to your homepage. If you're sending them to your homepage, now you're giving them all kinds of choices and they're confused as to why you took them there. So you want to keep leading them, down the funnel,
right,
down that sales funnel,
right,
until they connect with you.
Okay. So,
and you want to give them, so the call to action is call us for a demo. Now they're going to click on a landing page, and now you got to tell them why they should register with you to get the demo.
Okay, so
right?
So the call to action is to get it, right?
Yeah.
And then you want to clarify and keep up the push,
yeah,
to get them to actually complete, because just clicking on it isn't enough. They actually have to complete, giving the information, that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, the click is free, but when you start asking for people's phone number or email address or whatever, that's when you have to give up something, and you have to say, hey, I'm going to set expectations with you that if you give me your phone number or email address, here's what's going to happen next.
Right. So basically you're offering up something of value, and it's an interesting thing, right? When you say something of value, because people think of, oh, well, that's something that costs. It's something expensive or whatever it is. It's really not. Information is valuable. Information is one of the most valuable things that we in particular have at Agent Sauce, even though we promote a great product, a CRM and all that. It's really the information that we provide, the how-to and that sort of thing, that is of real value, because that's something that they can take with them no matter what they do.
Yeah, and for a real estate agent, it could be a tour of the house. For you guys, it could be a demo of the software. Other people use white papers and ebooks. Other people use a free song download. I mean, if you go to like Starbucks or whatever.
Right.
So, there's all kinds of ways to trade, information, and you should try different options too. You don't want to just try one way and say, well, these call to actions don't work. Well, you got to try different offers.
Well, there's something wrong with the call to action.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So, and that kind of gets into the whole concept of the silver bullet for marketing. I'm constantly telling our customers that there is no silver bullet for marketing. Our service, our product will do a great job for you, but you have to put work and effort into it. It's not going to make you millions of dollars by itself, but if you're working hard and working the data and working the system, it's going to help you get there, help you achieve your goals. So, and calls to action are the same way. You put out terrible calls to action, you're not going to get any response to them. And it could be the actual call to action itself, or it could be the landing page that you're taking them to in order to collect their actual information, because the call to action is really just one step in the funnel, in the sales and marketing funnel. The next step is that landing page and getting them to commit to giving you that valuable information of their name, their contact information, so that you can for a real estate agent commit to a listing or a meeting or whatever it may be. For any other company, it's whatever it is they're doing and promoting. So
yeah, I think if I'm a real estate agent and I'm producing anything, whether it's podcast, blog post, email, whatever, I should always be asking myself, what do I want them to do next? And then telling them what you want them to do next.
Right. So no matter what it is they're doing, there should be a call to action. Yeah. If it's sending an email with a recipe in it, there should be a call to action to collect data from the recipient there if they're interested in buying and selling for a real estate agent in this case. If they're doing a blog post, if they're doing a podcast, if they're updating a page, even on their own regular pages on their website, there should be that call to action.
Absolutely.
I can't tell you how many times I go to a website, different sites, and I see the call to action in like 3 different places on the same page, right? It's above the fold, which is when the page first loads, and then further down after a good bit of content, and then at the very bottom as well. And it's sign up for the 1 month free, whatever it may be. That call to action is there, and the reason it's there is because it works.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. Well, again, you've got the person's interest with the content, so they've landed there and they're reading deeper, and you're just reminding them, here's where you should go next. Here's where you should go next. Hey, the other thing that I'll say about call to actions, one is size matters. This is a PG show, I know, but having something that stands out like a significantly contrasting button really makes a huge difference. And then telling when you want someone to do it. Mm-hmm. This is the weirdest thing.
So putting now on the end of it?
Putting now on the end of it. So if you say, click here.
Right.
And you test another one that says click here now. Mm-hmm. Now we'll get more clicks.
Really?
Yes.
What about colors? I mean, you know,
Bizarre.
you're talking buttons right now,
Yeah.
right? So, you know, most people want their buttons and such to match what their website looks like, you know, kind of that general theme. Does color have any impact on
Color
that?
has a huge impact on people's perception of what's going to happen. So like colors like blue or trust colors and stuff like that, and colors like red are alarming, you know. And so, you know, a lot of people try to stay within the theme of their site and try to make things look just like everything else. But honestly, it might not work. You really should test alternate colors and just to see what happens.
Okay, so and you know, as I think about it, sitting here thinking about it, right? One of the things that comes to mind for me is that if it kind of matches your theme and blends into your theme, then it's harder to notice,
It's not gonna
right?
Yeah.
It's harder to notice, you know.
Yeah.
So put something really garish out there, maybe.
Right.
Not recommending you do that.
But
just
we
say
have,
I'm
like,
tested.
On our site, all the calls to actions are like a really bright blue, you know. And
So it still blends in
Yeah.
with your theme,
it's
but
the
it's
blue
really
from
noticeable.
our theme, but it's, you know, it's sitting there on a white background with
Right, it's
black
really
text.
noticeable because even though it matches, it's still very noticeable.
right.
Now, beyond you know, like online and buttons and such, what about images that are linked and that sort of thing? Do images help as opposed to just having a straight button?
The funny thing is we put buttons on the images a lot of the time.
Oh, so
So-
you hyperlink the whole image and then you put a little button on there
Yeah.
and it looks like the
It
button.
makes someone, you know, I mean, it's just that behavior, right? That people are taught to press a button.
Right.
And so if you don't have a button, people don't press it.
Okay.
And so we even, you know, if we do a call to action in an image, we typically, you know, put a button there. Some people put like a mouse pointer there
Right.
too. That works, you know, to an extent. But
We've been kind of trained to go with a button, right?
Yeah.
Look for a button.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So now you talked about like ebooks and blog posts and such, and blog posts are really website pages, for
Yeah.
lack of a better term. Do you ever reach a point where, you know, is there an issue with having a call to action on every page? You know, and I'm thinking of like WordPress where you can have a sidebar that's got widgets in it and you can literally just do it once and it shows up on every page. Is there an
Yeah.
issue with that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, I think people that don't have them are missing out. I don't think people go to like my articles and think, gosh, there's too many calls to action here. This is terrible. They go there to get the information that they wanted. And if I provide them, here's 3 more unique, you know, resources that you could look stuff up on, they tend to click on one. So I think it's you're providing something of value. Here's how to engage deeper with us.
Okay. So how about ebooks? You get into ebooks and most ebooks are some variation of a PDF.
Yep.
Right. And you can embed links into a PDF so that they're easily clickable.
Yep.
Right. So you could put calls to action within the PDFs themselves, which is great. And again, it's the same concept. You know, tailor the landing page to that particular call to action. Hopefully to continue driving that lead down the
Yeah.
sales and marketing channel, right?
So you're saying like if you were going to give everybody a link to a PDF at an event that you were at or something, or you're going to send a PDF by email? Or?
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of, you know, I did a short ebook, right?
Yep.
And you know, I put it out there for free without people having to register for it, right? Which
Right.
you could actually do it in 2 ways. One could be you require people register to get the ebook.
That's what I would do.
So that's what you would do.
Yeah.
Okay. But the other one would be that in the ebook itself, you could actually put a call to action. Maybe
Yeah,
you do
you
both,
could.
right? You could put a call to action in the ebook itself
Definitely.
and you know, link it back. So if, like we've got one that we put out on email marketing for realtors, right? So, you know, in the ebook, we've got links that go back to the website. What about the timeliness of a call to action, Doug?
Well,
Is
and-
there a timeliness issue?
The thing is if you can create a sense of urgency around a call to action, more people will click it. So things like,
So it's getting back to where you're saying, you know, click here now
yeah,
versus
but
click here.
even stuff like, you know, if you download this recipe from the site, you know, in the next hour, I'll also send you my ebook. You know,
Oh.
things like that, or make sure you register with me now because we have an open house showing
on Sunday,
on
that sort of
Sunday,
thing.
and I can get you all the information. Like when you put a deadline or a sense of urgency around it, more people, less people will abandon it, and more people will sign up.
So even something as simple as schedule a viewing soon because this house is going to go fast.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
There's no real hard and fast date there. It's just trying to create that sense of urgency.
Yeah, and I would try to use stats like, average homes in this neighborhood sell
in 30 days.
In 30 days. Be sure to sign up now for our open house so that you can, get a personal tour or something by Friday.
Right. So kind of reinforce it with a little bit of a little factoid or whatever that kind of reinforces your point.
You want to create that sense of urgency in the person's head that, oh, if I leave right now, I can't come back, and I might not be able to come back.
I might miss out. I might lose out.
Yeah.
It's funny because right now there's a TV commercial where they're talking about they're calling it FOBO, fear of better offer, right? So you're trying to kind of maximize on that same sort of thing, fear of losing the offer instead of better offer, right? By adding that sense of urgency.
A lot of people do it and it's just not true. Like, you ever see the TV ads that if you call in the next
all the
5
time, totally.
But they're running the commercial for 3 months.
Right. and it's funny because
I don't think you should lie like that.
No, I would agree. But at times I've thought to myself, because I've had some late nights up programming and that sort of thing, and I've seen the commercial on in the background, and I go, do they really have a schedule?
No,
and I'm thinking to myself, there's just no way that they're doing that. So
a lot of times with TV commercials, the reason why they put that in is because they want you to use the campaign code so they can see the effectiveness
of the TV itself.
The TV ad.
Yeah. So that's a measuring analytics metric that they're trying to do there.
Because it's a lot of times people will see something on TV and then go to the website and buy it, or go to Amazon and buy it, or go wherever.
Right, and they have no way of knowing what really drove the sale and what marketing they're paying for is really effective.
So if they say you're going to get the second knife set free, if you put in this code online, now all of a sudden they can track it.
Right. So, and this is kind of a little bit of a segue from calls to action, but is there a lot of value in doing something like that when you do the call to action, adding a sales code, that sort of thing?
Yeah, well, I mean, the great thing with calls to action is because someone's going to click on it, you can make that actionable in like analytics data too, and email and everything else. And so we'd recommend people put actual like Google Analytics campaign code on it, and then you can see where people came from. So if you had email, if they came from email, or they came from social media, or they came from, a virtual tour, a mobile, anything, that way they can go into their Google Analytics, and they can look up campaigns and see where people are coming. It's a little bit funky, but you have to put some tracking code on the end of a link.
Right. And that's a little bit more of an advanced topic.
Yeah.
But, still it's a great way to help you maximize your marketing efforts, because then you can actually track what's working and what's not. And if you're putting a bunch of money into, some online ad thing, and you're getting, one lead for every 10 you're getting from something else, you need to focus on the one you're getting the 10 leads from, not the one that you're getting the one lead, or you need to revamp your system that's sending you one lead, and because something's not working there. And that goes back to the poor call to action. And
we do things like, we'll flip calls to action on a page too. Like, you can test
A/B testing.
Yeah, do A/B testing and actually do event tracking, so you can see which one they clicked on. They clicked on the green one versus the red one, and so you can do things like that too. Those are more advanced as well.
Right.
But testing is a great way to optimize, because you're doing all this hard work. If you could squeeze out 20% more, visits or clicks,
which eventually leads to, even if it's only 10% of the 20% more, you're getting one or two more leads, that convert, and which hopefully generates more revenue, right?
Yeah.
And when you're talking the real estate sales cycle, the real estate sales in general, which are a percentage of whatever a listing goes for, one extra lead a week or a month that converts, you're talking thousands of dollars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Potential at a pop.
The other thing I'll say with testing is you'll always be surprised at the results. Like I always think that I know, and I've been marketing for a long time, and every time I test, it winds up surprising me.
So you think this is killer? I know this is working great, and it's just not.
It bombs.
Or this is terrible. It just can't be working, and it's great, right?
Yeah, sometimes we have clients, and they have the most god awful 1990s looking websites.
The long form where it's just
and
all
they
the way
convert
down.
Brilliantly.
Right.
And then we build this new theme and optimize it and everything else, and their click-through rate goes down.
And they're screaming bloody murder at you, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And sometimes that's users have to learn the new
format.
user interface,
Right.
And so they drive back up and then increase, so you want to pay attention, like new visitors versus, existing ones. But still, it's always a surprise to me. I'm always like amazed that
there's no set rule in marketing that this is going to work and this isn't going to work.
Yeah, anybody that tells you that there is lying or not testing.
So that not testing. Well, ignorance is bliss, right?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, so that goes back to, set hard and fast rules. Oh, you need to do 6 blog posts a day, and one of them needs to be personal and 3 business and two something or other, right? So, which is, kind of off topic from the call to action. Although your social media posts and stuff like that should contain calls to action as well.
Yeah, or your profile at least. Like, sometimes it's, you can have all these engaging, tweets on Twitter, and you don't want to have a call to action in every single one.
Well, and that's what I was just going to ask you.
Put on your social profile, have a nice one.
So, and that's what I was just going to ask you. What are the dangers of it in social media insofar as that goes?
Well, in social media, a lot of what people get wrong is that it's not a hard sell opportunity. It's a relationship opportunity. And so for, let's say, a real estate agent on social media, here's what I see every day, and it really irritates me, is I have real estate agents that I follow online. They're friends of mine and stuff. And they tell me every day, I sold this house. Close this one in 5 days. Close this one in 7 days.
Right.
Close this one. I don't care. What does that have to do with me? I'm not shopping for a house or looking for a house.
Right.
Now, they're a real estate agent, so if they really wanted to create value for me, a homeowner, they would tell me, wow, Lowe's has a really good special on, whatever this weekend, or, oh, wow, check out this cool fire pit that you can make yourself, or here's a, great tip to keep your heating costs down. Like, build value for me as a homeowner, and then when I go to buy a house, you're top of mind because you created great value with me.
Or even something along the lines of, this guy just came out and did this repair or whatever, and he did a great job. And it's not quite a call to action insofar as the realtor goes, but put a link to something to contact that person, some way to contact that person, perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay.
So create value based on when you're just advertising what your stats are or whatever, and your sales and everything, and bragging about yourself. That's not creating any value for the readers there. And so you got to create value for the readers, and then that'll build that trust and authority that they'll stick with you and, eventually sell a house with you.
Okay, great. Doug, thanks for joining us today. This has been Adam Small with Agent Sauce and the Real Estate Marketing Podcast. If you want any more information, want to learn more about us, feel free to contact us at 877-958-8043 or agentsauce.com.